quarterfinal action from the 2022 Canadian Ultimate Championships. A great matchup between two teams that have had success in this tournament, and they're trying to continue their championship hopes, get themselves into the semifinal. We're at the VC Showcase Field in Brampton, Ontario. We got Incognito out of Toronto in the dark, in the blue jerseys, against Cube out of Quebec City in the white. Theo on here with G Lee, Tushar Singh as the producer. G, how you feeling about this matchup? It's a good one.
Oh, I'm excited to see what's going to happen in this one. The women's division's kind of cracked open a little bit, hey? It's going to be a big game over here. It's getting gusty as well. We're avoiding the thundercloud, so
hopefully. We're knocking on wood for that one.
I'm being positive on this end, so it's going to be real good.
And when you talk about wide open, tell the audience what, maybe they don't know, what this wide open division now looks like.
We had a few upsets today, didn't we, Theo?
We absolutely did.
We had a big one with Stella versus Venus. Venus came out on Universe Point this morning, or earlier this afternoon. So now Venus is in the semis, waiting to see the winner of this game.
Absolutely, and Venus was a 7 seed coming into it, so taking down the overall 2 seed, a team that went to Worlds and Stella out of Ottawa. So Stella gonna have to fight their way back, playing PPF on the field across from us. And if Stella were to be successful, they would take on Iris in the semis tomorrow.
And I bet you everybody that put in some picks over here didn't think Stella was gonna end up in the semis. Your bracket is broken.
Yeah, didn't expect them to have to go through the quarters to get to the semis. I think people expected them to be in the semis specifically, but not the road that they're taking.
Not this road. This one's a tougher road for sure.
Yeah, we love the cheers from Cube right now, the team in white. Program from Quebec City. We thank you those from Quebec that have tuned in for the stream. Cheering on the squad, and players on offensive line clapping, keeping loose. You do want to see the energy. You know it's a pressure-filled game, but any way players can keep loose, that's important.
Yeah, you gotta get those shoulders relaxed. You gotta try and dance it out like even the coaches over there are doing, and just play your game.
Last time slot of the day. Still awaiting what's happening with, looks like teams are ready. I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe they just want to delay the awesome start of this contest. We're already 1 minute into the time, but we're just going to wait as players dancing out on the field, keeping things loose for Cube.
Yeah, it looks like the observers are looking around right now trying to figure out, should we start this game or not? And we've got Jeff Blair's hands up. He is going to call it. The game is on.
Blair along with Sheila Quintos, your observers for this contest. Incognito in dark starting on offense. Lim's going to find Abe. The Japanese import finds Sadakono on the far side. Santokono moving it up. Finding Monica Wang, a couple former Toro teammates connecting so far. Lim up the line.
Cube's doing a really good job of sticking with their marks right now. And there is a turn.
You absolutely called it there, G. They did a great job resetting. Karen Chan Lim, not a lot of options for the veteran. And now a chance for this D-line to step up. Moving things forward. Laurent. It's a reset over to La Tulipe. Was at the stat sheet and no foul called there. A little bump.
Looked like the wind also helped pick that one up. There's your 8th defender on the field right now. This wind is really unpredictable. It's a bit gusty down there. We walked it just now, Theo and I, and it was just, it's nasty.
Zhu, who was there for defense, now getting a big undercut. Santokono getting down on the turf for the grab. This is an offensive point for this Toronto group. Wang, big pump fake. Finds captain Karen Chan Lim just outside the end zone. Chan Lim resetting to Wang as Incognito. Looking to punch in this hold.
Looking good right now. They're very patient on this end zone line over here, waiting for the right cut, waiting for the right move.
They've been forcing a lot of things open side, and spinning around is Chan Lim, who finds a receiver. 2 players catching it. You know there's going to be a call here, G.
Oh, we only saw them somersaulting on the ground on that one, but I think what's going to be said is that blue had possession of the disc before white came in. It does look like it's a contested foul. Conversation still happening.
Wang, number 30 there on your screen, being involved in that one.
And I think the biggest thing that they're going to talk about is that Wang felt like that she most probably had control of the disc. The disc was stopped. It did not spin anymore. And like I said, we couldn't see it very well from this angle, but it was a huge bid from Cube.
Discussion still happening. Observers able to rule on calls, of course, and if you choose to go to them, players can also just try to resolve it themselves. Ultimate being self-officiated, a special aspect of this sport, G, that I know you're probably a big fan of as a coach of juniors, teaching players how to resolve calls and conflicts, those things. That's a really impressive skill to have.
It's a skill that you actually not a lot of people really have. So when you start to see it in games in these situations, you're kind of like, okay, you're building on your own social skills. So it's a great thing about Ultimate. It's a very different thing for other athletes coming into our sport. But at the same time, I think it's one of the special things about Ultimate Frisbee.
Looking like it's going to be coming out on a high stall here. Drouin marked up against Chan Lim. Chan Lim going to have to get rid of the disc pretty quickly.
This defense looks really tight right now. They're just choking them into that end zone on that sideline.
Chan Lim going to go reset and snacked away by Cube. Moving things out on offense now. Their defensive line. And taken away by Zhu once again. 2 blocks on this point for number 9 in blue.
I don't know about you, Theo. I think this is going to be a really good game.
You're seeing it right now. Both teams wanting it on defense. Abe finds her target, and Wang going to be a big part of this offense. You see why right now. Abe getting up the line.
Abe just looked for a hammer. That's gutsy. I love it.
Wang looking for options. Has had Abe temporarily. Now finding Zhu. Zhu looking for Santacono, and big layout coming up empty, but great effort.
These ladies are giving their all right now, and this is only our first point. So I think we're going to expect a lot more out of these ones too. So this is a great game, and I don't even know what else to say. This is a long point too, so they're getting tired. This D is tight.
See if Cube elects to call a timeout on this first point. Drouin going for the break throw and bouncing in and out of the hands. An effort there from Cube. Going to give the disc to Incognito just past midfield for them. Chan Lim ushering out some instructions for her squad.
And what's interesting too right now is that Cube is in a match D form, which sometimes in the wind you're going to see actually a lot more zone going on. I actually like the call because they're making them work really hard for their cuts.
So regardless if Cube does score this defensive point, they're making this offense work, and that's hopefully going to give them some opportunities to get some blocks or turns later. And they're hoping for it right now in Wah. Masters eligible player playing for Cold at Wamuck, making a play.
Good movement right now. They're being very patient with the disc, so this is really nice to see, especially, woo! Nice bid.
Great layout from Drouin. The lefty going around, finding her target, La Tulipe. La Tulipe, excuse me. La Tulipe continuing onto the break side there. For Cube looking for the break. Wah's going to be ruled out of bounds, looking for that bookends. Coming up empty.
I think Wah over there did a double step thinking that she wasn't in the first time, but her left foot landed right outside of the line, and Observer called it immediately.
A long point for sure. Multiple turnovers from each side. If you're keeping track at home, I see 4. There's a pick call, but a great grab from Santacono to keep things alive. What athleticism there.
Oh. Sometimes huge athleticism also leads to a few bruises. Santacono now walking off. She is feeling that layout for sure. needs a breather.
Ko coming in her stead, it looks like, for Incognito. Excuse me, that might be Wang. Gonna get the number for you once disc gets tapped in here for Incognito. Wah on the mark. Wang has checked in for Incognito, number 88 there. Another pick call is going to stall things a little bit for Incognito. This still an offensive point for them. Don't forget that,
This is still an
G.
offensive point. This is a very tough offensive point for sure.
Working things over, Latu leap.
Usually as an offensive player, I'd like to keep it quick. So they're working really, really hard for this.
Looking for the blade, finds her target. That's a score for Cube, a hard-earned one at that. Tosti gets the goal.
That was some gritty defense by Cube over there, causing a lot of turnovers and making it really difficult for Incognito to make easy cuts. They have been on them shoulder to shoulder, fighting for each lane, and it is going to be a tough game if the offense cannot get moving.
First point, taking around 8 minutes there as we see coaches for Cube, Carl Sonet Gagnon and Guillaume Turcotte, was told that this team doesn't have traditional O&D lines. They're going to go upwind, downwind lines. So a little different strategy session for you for the coaches in the audience.
Yeah. And we've actually used that a few times in the prairies because we do find we get a lot of wind over there, and it is very helpful to use an upwind and downwind line. It makes it a lot easier to move the disc.
Taking a look at Incognito's offensive line. It's a whole new group as we see Coach Jessica Chen walking off the field. Carried a little, looks like a rock climbing chalk. I've seen that more and more in Ultimate now, especially for certain players. I get really sweaty in the hands. You get the players a little bit more grip on the disc, and Jessica Chen, no stranger to high-level Ultimate, having played for the Sixers and Team Canada. You probably know who that is.
I think I do.
Big handler for them. No longer playing for the Sixers right now, deciding to lend her hand and coaching, along with Carson Clark, the other coach for Incognito. Smith going around, and it's taken away. Cube, short field turnover, and they punch it right away. Bizot with the block and assist. Cube feeling it so far. Gilbert gets the goal.
They did a really good job over there of that straight up mark. And sometimes when you're not expecting it and your cuts are coming in, it is really hard to adjust that fast. And I think Incognito needs to kind of do a little bit of a reset and start executing their game plan.
Cube has had a little bit of a up and down road at this tournament because they lost to Venus, a team that they've had 4 games so far this season, 3 of them going to Universe. They lost to Venus on Universe, and Venus shaking things up as well as we had talked about. So Cube coming out hot, I think that's going to bode success for them throughout this game. They're going to have to just keep it up. That 3-point swing is huge in Ultimate, right? If you go, right now it's 2-0, could be 2-1 or 3-0. That's a very different landscape for this game.
Yeah, and it could also change like I said, the mindset of the other team. Their energy might go down. It could get amped up once you get that next point. And I don't think Incognito is out of it. I just think that Cube is doing a really, really good job right now of just shutting them down and not allowing easy throws, especially off the first or second throw.
We were talking about this off air about how their person defense is going to really take away the unders. We're seeing that right now. Incognito might have to open up the offense a little bit, keep the defenders honest.
Yeah, and maybe also moving that disc a little faster. I think they're waiting too long for something, and they should start to move the disc as they are right now.
Abe and Chan Lim going to be your handler quarterbacks for this team. Their first offensive line back out there. Dow can't come up there, and Santacono putting the body on the line multiple times throughout this game, and you know that's a big part of her abilities. And Chan Lim getting a block, but there's a foul called.
We don't know yet.
Or it could perhaps be an injury. We're going to find out. I don't want to pronounce it a foul just yet there, G.
It did look like a collision over there. Chan did come in from behind, trying to rip that disc out of her hands. So Chan Lim she's waiting for her right now, which is actually really, really good. Good spirit on everybody's end. And we don't know yet if there's a call, but there is an injury sub.
Drouin coming off the field for Cube.
Laurent's coming on, or no, she was already.
Bergeron, one of the top players for this Cube team, was told to keep an eye out for her by the coaches. Someone who's really devoted to building Ultimate there in Quebec City, and having previously played for that Irish squad, but deciding to play with Cube. So there is a contested foul as well. Some discussion between Chan Lim and the injured player and Drouin, who's now on the sideline. So some interesting discussion happening here.
I've never seen this before.
It's an interesting visual, right?
Yeah. These calls can cause a lot of conversation sometimes because you don't know whether or not you had position or you had that catch. So I think this is where they are talking and discussing whether or not it is a foul or if there's a contest.
We saw the first point taking a long time as well, 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Just a few turnovers here and there. And so this one also stopping some momentum. And for Cube, who's trying to get that third break in a row, they're going to keep the disc here.
And I believe Sheila Quintos, the other observer over there, just called that and called it a foul.
Bergeron going to keep it for Cube. The team from Quebec City trying to get that big break for a 3-0 lead. They're going to start an offense in the second half, so just keep that in mind as well. High throw reeled in. Latu leap, putting it out into space. Looking for Fabra, but it's taken away by Wang. What defense from number 30 in blue.
What a grab by Wang. She came in and read that perfectly.
That was super athletic. We've seen a few of those plays from this young Incognito squad, putting their body on the line, making things happen, keeping those championship hopes alive. Abe gonna see this one into the hands with a layout. Faking the big backhand, or excuse me, flick. Instead going for the reset.
Right now, oh, that's a great undercut right there. Now Incognito is starting to move that disc in good spaces. Cube is trying to catch up. Oh.
Senecono, big throw that's going to be tossed up, but Zhu keeping an eye on it. Keeping things moving for this team. Abe giving instructions. Danny stopped her cut. And Cube's going to get the turnover.
That was a tough throw for Abe to make there's a pick called right now. That throw was really hard because her handler had pushed out into the vert stack. It was really difficult to find another option, so I think she was just left with nothing else and hoping that one of her teammates could help her grab that disc.
On this close sideline, we see Laurence Drouin, who had come off on the injury sub, kind of jumping on one leg, trying to get herself ready to get back on the field, back into action.
She's looking good.
Little jukes back and forth on the sideline, and the upwind downwind line is a good or interesting strategy. Good for Cube right now, having certain players on or certain throwers that they want on the upwind side. That helps.
It really does. It changes your game. You're allowed to move the disc a bit faster, and you know that those throws can get there a little bit more. Higher percentage, I would say.
Wah. Flipping it, scooped up. That was a flimsy kind of throw, and they're going to find the end zone. That's another break for Cube.
What great movement. We were just talking about having great throwers out there against the wind, and this is why I think Cube decided on this strategy. It is such a great way to just make your offense move a little bit more, and it also keeps Incognito on their toes right now because these throws are coming off very, very fast. It's really hard to set up your defense when you're throwing.
Cube coming in as the 3 seed in this tournament. They were also the 3 seed from their pool. So they're the 3B playing the 2A in Incognito. So Incognito, the higher seed here, as a timeout is called by the Toronto side.
And Toronto isn't looking too bad right now. What they need to do is just clean up their offense a bit and get that disc moving. Either try to get more options out there rather than just one, because it looks like they're getting stuck whenever they have the disc. Or maybe moving a bit quicker, just a little faster before everything starts. Sometimes it's good to start early, right? So They do have a chance to get back into this. These points are long. Cube's going to get tired. Come back at it.
One thing working potentially against the Toronto group is the fact that the open squad Quake is out here supporting their fellow Quebec City team. So that might help as well. We see Cube getting a little dance on here.
I think it's awesome that the men come out and help out and cheer on the other team. It's such a cool experience to have other people cheer you on from your own city.
So, G, I got to ask you, when you're playing, are you one of the dancing type players or you're more stoic on the sideline?
No. I'm standing there, I'm watching the game. I'm either really, really loud or really, really quiet. But no dancing. Maybe a panda roll here or there, but no dancing.
Incognito back out on offense here. Chan Lim going to help quarterback the squad. See, Abe is there as well. Jessica Chen giving some instructions to the team, and seeing Flora Hay as well, a captain on this squad out there, now jogging off. Toronto is, I don't want to say in dire straits right now, G, but it is getting to that time where they got to start to dial things in before the lead just balloons too much.
It would be really, really hard to come back after if this point doesn't go their way. They would have a really big uphill battle, so I think this is one that they have to score.
Especially with Cube coming out on offense as well. They do get another advantage that way. So it's been all breaks so far for the Quebec City side.
And it looks like Incognito is seeing something different right now. It is a zone, a 3-3-1.
Wang feathering things over to the other Wang.
I don't know about you, Theo, but sometimes as a player, I like seeing a zone, especially if I'm losing in match D a lot. It changes up my game.
Try something different.
Yeah,
I like that.
Right? Oh, what a run through.
Gilbert coming down with the block. We've seen that already, and a timeout from Cube. A little veteran call from Tulip. I do like to say that, La Tulip, with the veteran call when you call a timeout. Would you like to see that timeout, or would you see them want to just punch it in right there?
If I had a person in the end zone, I think I would pick it up and punch it in. But sometimes the veteran call is the way to go. You know, this is also a big point for them. That's a big lead to have, and they are coming in hot right now. You don't want to lose momentum and maybe take a risk that you didn't really need to.
We're getting fired up in the booth for this game. I hope you are as well. We thank you for tuning in. And tomorrow, according to our producer, I want to fact check this, but 5 games on the stream. Is that true? He's nodding his head. 5 games coming at you. We got a mixed quarterfinal at 8:30. And more games to come. We're going to find out the whole schedule for you. So you're all strapped in, ready to go. I want to give you the accurate information, of course, but just a quick note on that mixed quarterfinal. Some of you are looking at the results website on Ultimate Canada. That game may be moved. So we will announce, Ultimate Canada will, I Am Ultimate as well, announce what game there is. So stay tuned for that. You can find it on the same channel, CBC Sports YouTube.
We've got a different little setup going over here for Cube. Cube is set up with 1 person in the front of the end zone with 3 in the back. Looks like it's going to be an ISO play. And as you can tell, Cube is not moving right now as offense is supposed to stay in their positions first while defense can set afterwards.
Zhu on the mark. Chan Lim's going to be isolated as a defender. Great defense on Wah. And that's going to produce that turnover for Incognito. Chan Lim stepping up as a leader, stopping that isolation cut.
That was a great ISO D, and it just made it so difficult for her in the end zone. Cube could not get open. And again, ISOs are great, but if you have nothing else after and you're not getting that disc, it's going to be real tough.
Wang coming down with another block. That's her 2nd of the game by my count. Number 30, the lefty going around to Chan Lim. Offensive point here for Incognito. Grace Wang trying to get there. Can she stay in bounds with the effort, but disc going to go out of bounds onto the turf.
Yeah, just floated out. A little bit of an errant throw over there. Again, this wind is unpredictable, so anything you let go, it could go any way.
Tosti went up line, allowing Waugh to get it, but there's a pick and drop. So maybe some discussion, perhaps? Tosti is discussing with an a couple Incognito players there, in fact.
Oh, looks like it was retracted, and it is a turnover. Zone is set up again. They're trying to pressure these handlers a little bit more and getting those cutters involved. Incognito really got, yes, that's exactly what I was gonna say, Theo. They needed to get right through that cup and really try to get that disc past them.
They are swinging it back and forth, but as you mentioned, we need the poppers in there to make things happen. Around to Dow with the saving layout.
I really hope someone got that on camera. That was good.
So there's photographers and videographers out on the field. Hopefully they got it.
Happy to see them here.
I see a couple out there.
Here we go. The cup is opened up now, so Incognito has been able to move it a few times.
Here a melt call from the Cube side, going to person, it looks like. Santacono trying to get a player to come underneath, and Abe. Chandler trying to cut open on Waugh, but instead it's going to be down in the reset. Santacono just before midfield for Incognito. Good spacing right now from the vertical stack, it looks like.
It is looking really good compared to the last few points. I think they're kind of getting into their own. I don't want to. They were getting into their own. You didn't want to jinx
them there,
I
is
know.
what you're saying.
I keep not wanting to jinx them, and then a turnover happens. It's hard sometimes. You get something good going, and then one mistake, and it costs you a turnover.
Latulippe looking deep. Not able to reel in was Fabra, but I like the look from Cube, making Incognito continuously work left to right on your screen. The full 70 yards. Get that zone look set up as well. A lot of tall players in the cup, making things difficult.
It is a bit of a height advantage right now for Cube. If I don't know if the video can see, but there is a tiny bit of a height advantage right now. Toronto's a little bit smaller, but at the same time, they are moving the disc quite well. They just got to get it through if they can.
Chandler trying the huck, and I do like them trying to switch the field there. Just doesn't work out for their favor on that one. More Moog coming down with the block in the deep, deep space. Latulippe needs some help holding it in that flick side, and now pointing, looking for a receiver to go deep. Don't think it was intended for Waugh, but Waugh will come down with it. Needs some help with the high stall. Trying to flip it in, but the tight quarter's not working out for Cube there.
There's a lot of pressure for Waugh. I think she just kind of panicked in the end and decided, I got to get it in. And so she forced the throw.
Incognito with the timeout. It was a long point. I'm counting 5 turnovers apiece from my chart.
Yeah, this one could be longer than that first point we had.
Regardless of how long the point is, this is a big time point for Incognito. Not just would be heartbreaking to lose the point, but 4-0. That's the big part of it as well. It's been a long point. You don't want to go down 4-0. There's a lot of factors here, and I think they sense that, and that's why they called the timeout.
Yeah, I think the anxiety is coming in to play right now. They don't want to have that 4-0 against them. What we're also seeing is the disc has been in their side of the field this whole time, and it's really hard for them to push past it.
59 minutes left in this contest before the hard cap and the end of this game. So there is time left. There's an hour left for Incognito, but we talked about the deficit and how it plays on you mentally. That's a big part of why we're saying must score for the Toronto group.
You're tired right now. Things aren't going to work out as planned. And what are you going to do? How are you going to fight through that adversity? You just got to go through. You got to keep fighting through this.
Go through the door of adversity.
Through the door. Go through that zone. Get right through it.
Dow finding Chan Lim. That's the side that Cube wants to force you on. Scuba out of it and see if they can continue it to that break side. Instead, they're going to go through the cup to Wang.
They're doing a good job of getting through the first time, but there is no continuation right now, and I think they are looking for that continuation and hoping it's coming a little sooner. If they can move that disc a bit more, I think they're going to see a bit more success in that middle. But again, those middle poppers need to get involved a little bit more and help these handlers out. That's a very big cup to get around. And you're seeing what they're doing.
Tricky part is on that side now. Chandler having multiple tall players in the area. Stall count rising, going to go around. Wang electing not to even look to that break side just yet. Now slices it through with the inside. Can Santacono follow it through?
There's
Grace Wang
now.
coming down with it. There
Here
is some space, as you mentioned.
They're melted into a person D right now, and it's looking like Incognito has a little bit more momentum coming through. Hopefully they can rein in those discs so they're not as far away from their Toronto players.
Couple big grabs from Santacono, and then Dow on the first pass. They're really having to stretch out to make some of these plays. Dow has Grace Wang going deep, deciding not to throw it. And Chan Lim against that Wah matchup. Instead, it's going to be Santacono up line, and Wah poaching off the back for a block, or poaching off of Chan Lim.
That is great field awareness by Wah over there, knowing that that upline cut was coming, and she pinches in and poaches the lane.
Wah's been very heads up for this team. Little big fake there from Tosti. Going to keep things going, and that throw is going to die down into the turf for Wah.
Leo, I think I feel what we're seeing right now.
I could be called Leo if you want as well. That's
you
fine.
know, both names are pretty cool.
It's
but
true.
what we're seeing right now is fatigue. You can tell that they're getting tired. These turnovers are very small, but they're affecting everybody right now on the field.
As you know, when you're tired, the decision-making goes down sometimes here. A stall out being called by Ariane Tosti.
And looks like there's no contest from what I saw. The signal is the pat on the head over there by Wang, and she agrees it was a stall out. The T of 10.
Often you see stall outs being called back or contested, so good spirit from both teams here. Want to see Latulippe get really involved in the handler space, maybe perhaps going every other. The one who leads the stat sheet for this cube side. Been shown that she's able to put out the flick into different areas of the field. Finds Wah, gets the reset now, and keeping things moving as there is a call once again. Wah and Chan Lim discussing some things and looking very cordial as there's a travel.
Yes, a travel call, just like basketball. Can't walk with the disc, but I think what it was her feet were all, she ran out of bounds and kept her feet out, so that was the violation right there.
Up the line and just a little too far for Latulippe. And 7 turnovers aside right now. And Incognito desperately wanting this offensive point. Chan Lim gonna power a huck. Looking for Grace Wang. Great effort, but Gilbert again. There's a couple blocks on this point for Elizabeth Gilbert.
Yeah, and that was a very good read by Gilbert. She was in there with her and just didn't let her catch that at all.
Latulippe sending her receiver deep, sending Fabra there. Knocked down and caught. We're gonna wait for the observer ruling from Sheila Quintos just to make sure here before we signal anything. Looks like it is a goal for Cube.
What a great read on the disc. She caught that with 2 hands. It fumbled a little, and I don't even, that concentration to just keep that disc in your, like, wrapped up in your hands. And this is what Incognito did not want. We are now at 4-0.
4-0 the score line here for the Toronto side, or excuse me, for the Cube side. Interested to see what Coach Carson Clark is going to do for this offense. I see a lot of new players here. A timeout being called as well for Cube. Their second one, or excuse me, their first one of this game. Excuse me, second. That was a long point, so you do see why they would call a timeout.
These coaches are prepared. They know that these guys need the break, and right now they're talking about another strategy coming in. Cube's got a few things up there, like just up their sleeves right now. You don't know what they're going to pull out. The zone was looking good. The match D was looking really good as well. So what's next?
Stifling the unders for sure. And what do you think Cube is doing specifically on zone defense. We know their under defense is really preventing a lot of those cuts. We've seen Chan try to power some hucks left to right on your screen, but not as much from the other players. So what is the zone doing right now to stop what Incognito is trying to gain on offense?
They're suffocating their handlers right now. You can tell that Incognito isn't able to actually swing that disc right across the field. There's a hesitation in there. And I do think it's because right now the height of that cup is making you hesitate to throw around or under or through it. And it's making Incognito second guess everything that they're doing. It's a really, really tight cup. It's not very big, but they're doing a great job of moving together and containing the throws. So even after they caught one or two through the zone, you can tell that Cube is ready to set that cup back up and not allow anything else up the field.
We got G. Lee with the analysis here, coaching extraordinaire, also color commentator by day. We do love to see that. We thank you for joining us, and our producer, Tushar Singh, for making things happen with I Am Ultimate. Want to thank also VC Ultimate for being a sponsor, Discraft, City of Brampton, and also the province of Ontario, making some grants and helping this championship run. Do appreciate that.
I appreciate you too, Theo. You're a great mentor. Learning about how you handle all the heckles on your podcast and everybody talking about you and cheering for you. I don't know how you do it.
That does happen.
But you love it.
Pick being called. Well, it was reeled in by Sulita. But some of that momentum is going to be called back here from Incognito. They did a great job moving on offense. Their line looking very different from their first offensive point. Bringing in some new players, which is helpful. I think just to give a fresh mindset as well, right? A lot of those offensive players have gone some mileage. They've played not a lot of points, but the points have been long. So give them a mental break as well.
Yeah, and I like the space right now, right? Cube is really throwing different things. It's making Incognito uncomfortable, but the space that Incognito has right now is just making this a lot easier for them to move that disc. Pick was called again.
When you have a tight vertical stack, sometimes the player's trying to come out of the stack multiple at a time, resulting in some picks.
More often than not.
Going up the line. And it's caught for a score. Incognito gets their first point. A spike from Gal, trying to galvanize the team, get them excited. They're cheering, and they get off the schneid. They get a goal.
Oh, that was a great grab over there. That disc did float a little bit, so Cube had a play on the disc, so she ripped that down quick enough, and they're amped right now. This is the best part because now D-line comes on and just starts going for it.
I would say this is where you see the Cube O-line, but we've already talked about this, how that's not going to be the case. It's going to be their different line based on the wins. So how do they respond? Incognito, that was a clean hold for them.
It was.
So smooth offensive point. We've seen them having a bit of trouble as they got broken 3 times before that. And getting a new line out there did the trick. So kudos to the coaching staff for being able to make that happen.
I'm wondering if the coaches on Cube will start switching back to a zone again, as that suffocated them a little bit more.
That person defense wasn't as successful as we saw the zone.
Exactly.
At least on that point.
Mm-hmm.
Haley Smith to pull for Incognito. One of the spirit captains on this team. Ready to pull from the middle of the end zone. That settles just out of bounds and will be brought into the middle by Cube. Bergeron. Talked about already as someone came into the program, and Incognito coming on his own look as well.
Oh, and they are trying to do the same thing right now, but it looks like they're trying to force those handlers out of that position, making it really hard for them to swing that disc.
Bergeron going to the far side. The zone is really trying to clamp down the handlers, similar to what Cube was doing.
They've got one defender on the right side and then the left side, trying to force them to throw upfield through. And that's the turn they wanted.
Looking deep right away. What a layout for the grab. Grace Wang making a play. Incognito trying to get themselves back in this contest. And you're going to do that with a huge layout grab for the score.
Feels like a turning point right now, Theo. Looks like they are getting the energy that they needed, and that throw was beautiful.
What a layout from Grace Wang, the Western University product, making things happen for the Toronto side. Cube going to march back to the to the end zone with their offensive line or offensive players. Kind of the lead in half for Incognito. And at one point at 4-0, we were saying it might be trouble for Incognito, but they probably heard us and want to prove us wrong here.
I think on the live stream sometimes you feel the pressure, and then you're like, we're going for it. And that transition was so fast that I don't think Cube could catch up.
See what defensive players the coaching staff of Chen and Clark decide to put out or elect to put out for Incognito. Latu Leap is out there for Cube. Wah as well. Trying to power this group to a hold. It's been a lot of breaks in this game. So that's what we like to see, though. Cube yet to hold on offense. They haven't had a lot of offensive points to even do that.
This looks like another zone from Incognito. A different look this time. Trying to flatten out the mark as well.
Duran working with Latu Leap. Really quarterbacking this zone offense. Duran almost had the disc knocked away, and they're just working it up down that open side. And Latu Leap going with a blady flick that's going to hit into the turf. And I think it looks like they're wanting to set something. You see Latu Leap pointing, and maybe that was a little huck and pin strategy, even though they moved it past half field.
They did, and I think the cutters behind were a little bit stagnant. It took a little bit of time for Latu Leap to get a person going for her. And the throw was a little bit off, but I think that was her plan.
Rudzitas walking it up for Incognito. Big fakes. Going with a high flick to Makito, who reels it in. A couple former MMV teammates connecting. Going with the around. And unfortunately hits the turf if you're an Incognito fan. As Cube another opportunity on offense. And throw too far away, knocked down by Ko.
They're slowly to pick up right now. I think they're just waiting to set up another vert again to just get it going, keep it chill.
Ko almost had the grab there. We're seeing a couple of players on Incognito haven't seen a lot of shine, a lot of play time, and they're getting out there. Coach is giving them an opportunity after they got the break with their first D-line. Latu Leap going with the same third throw, finding Wah for the grab. Latu Leap, third assist of the contest, has more than 10 in this tournament.
Incognito did a great job down there, and they had the turns that they wanted. I think just keeping it a little bit more chill and keeping possession is going to be difficult sometimes, especially when you're fatigued and you haven't played in a little bit, especially if it's new players on the field after 4 or 5 points with the same groups out.
And we got some exciting action for you here. We got Stella PPF on the field across from us, and more pre-quarterfinal action in the mixed division and open division as well. So you can tune in to go to the Ultimate Canada website. You can find the link for where you can get scores and get all your information. Go to their social media pages as well. We see the coaches deciding to go with kind of that first offensive line. Abe out there, Zhu, Wang, Dao, Chan Lim, Santacono. So that was the line that didn't actually score that smooth offensive point. Just want to make a note of that for you, G. And we'll see what happens here with this line. They were one of the line that was on those two really long points.
Yeah, and they had like maybe two points of a break there, and hopefully they can come back and make this a smooth possession and score. That's a good roll.
Abe almost had the disc taken away there. Bergeron was coming down hot on that one.
We're also seeing a different look now. It's a horizontal from Incognito.
2 players collecting the disc. Zhu was able to come down with it, but Dao was also there. Excuse me, Wang. Chen Lim going to go to the other side of the field to this close sideline. Grace Wang, who has the disc, had a great layout earlier to get things going or continue things for Incognito. Dao, lefty grab, taking some contact.
Dow really makes that look very easy.
Dao known for the athleticism, making those plays. Former Team Canada Juniors player. Bringing that experience over. There's a few of them on this squad, and that will really help in these moments where you felt, as we said, 4-0, thought maybe they'd be out of it, but they're able to push back and continue fighting. Thought it was foot block, but it's going to continue for Incognito. Wang grabs it up high, looking for Abe, but taken away by Mormeau, just snaking it out of the air.
Wang tried an inside backhand throw on that one, and it just sailed to the wrong person.
Dao was there, going to catch it, and you do like to see her make the catch because sometimes you bat the disc and there was an offensive player right there. Chen Lim going to laser a backhand, and Monica Wang makes the grab. If Incognito's going to score, they're going to do it by going horizontal right now. Chen Lim with another assist, or excuse me, her first assist of the game. You're trying to catch your breath there, AG.
Oh, yeah. That was a great layout. They are working so hard for these points, and they're also making it look really, really pretty at the same time.
If they're going to score, they're going to do it with flash.
Yeah, you got to do it with flash. You got to do it with style. If you do that, then you've got props from all of us over here. It's great on video.
This is where now your cube, how do you respond? That was a hold. That was not a break. Momentum still a bit on your side here. You get to start on offense in the second half. What do you think the coach is? Both of them are on the line talking to their players. What do you think they're saying to the squad right now?
I would actually keep it the same. Nothing has changed other than the fact that Incognito right now is executing a little bit more than they were before. It was gritty. Cube was trying. They had a few turnovers. That's the problem. It's like you've turned it over. You've done your job. But Incognito gets it back so fast. And what do you do when someone's going to lay out and bid for those and catch it? This is what, the second layout point? So I don't know. I'd come in there and say, keep doing it. You guys are doing a good job. The turns will come.
Latu Leap going to try to power this offense once again. A zone look. We were told they had multiple zone looks. They're going to throw it out there, and it results in a block. Gao.
They did a great job of trying to take away all the upfield throws, so the handlers had to be active.
Hammer time, and just not there. Haley Smith wanting that one.
I love it. I love the risk. I love the hammer throws.
I told you they like the flash. You're seeing it right now. Trying to hammer for the break. Trying to get their second one of this game, of this half.
Here's that zone look again.
Way to move the mark there. Thought she was looking back for a dump, instead going around. A little scuba action to Latuli.
What's working for Cube right now is that they have 4 handlers back. So they're able to move that disc a little faster, and that cup has to work a bit harder to get the disc to stop moving. And you're watching it right now. The cup is having a tough time just trying to contain these handlers. And they're doing a great job of working with each other and just moving that disc. Again, that could be your upwind line right there, where you put 4 handlers on there just to make that disc move, especially in these situations. And as a handler, I love it.
Cube doing a great job of moving things forward. Going high release to Wah. About 5 yards away from the end zone. Settling for a reset to Latulip. Latulip loves the point and throw. We've seen that multiple times this game. Going inside flick instead. Will this stay in bounds? Great effort, but don't think it was going to be in bounds, and the disc was lost upon contact as well.
She tried to keep her toes in to make that grab, but I think her toes actually already were off the ground when she tried to catch it, so I don't think it would have been a completion.
Smith had the hammer earlier in the end zone set, going to put a flick out, and just a little too far for Gao.
The wind has died down a little bit, and you can tell that Cube and Incognito are trying to stretch this game out even more than they have. Seeing a lot more big looks.
That throw not where Joanne wanted. And we have a receiver going deep. That's Flora Hay. One pursuit. And the throw just not going to stay in bounds.
As I said, the wind slowed down. I think they heard me, and it just picked up again and made that disc just keep going. I need to stop talking, but I can't.
I mean, you're up here telling us what's happening, so do appreciate that. I love how the sidelines are also moving with the play from both sides, trying to help out. Great trap there, making things difficult, and they're still stuck on that sideline, needing some help. Stall count rising. Inside shot's going to be taken away. Great defense from Incognito. That trap zone working to perfection there. Savarici to pick up. Trying to get this break for Incognito around to Smith. Smith with a big backhand fake. Going across the field with the flick instead. And that's going to find Flora Hay for the break. And Incognito right back in this one.
This is a game, ladies and gentlemen. Incognito moved that disc really, really well, having Cube just scatter around in the end zone trying to figure out what was happening. That back cut was just perfect. And what a throw.
That was all set up, though, the short field offensive opportunity for Incognito by their zone look. There weren't a lot of shots in the reset space. They tried that risky inside shot, and the side mid able to snack on that one for the block.
And I think they knew that they were still in this game. With all the strategies that they have in place right now, you can tell they're giving you different looks. The defense was very, very good on that play. They really made it hard for the handlers to move that disc off of that sideline.
I'm going to wonder if Cube's going to put some, maybe even a 6. I don't know if they're going to be as bold and go like 4 or 5 or maybe like 6 handlers, but all the top handlers on one line to try to get a certain upwind point just because those are more important. We'll see what happens with Cube. I know they have those lines split up based on their upwind, downwind strategy.
Exactly, and it also would depend on what kind of defense is coming right now, right? If you have a match D going on, are you going to stick all your handlers out there? That would be a really tough one to play as well. This wind, like I said, it's just unpredictable. You don't really know what it's going to do. So strategy-wise, this is very tough. But again, it looks like there's 3 handlers moving with each other.
This Incognito zone's really active too, especially on the mark, trying to take away a lot of those easy swing passes, those couple feet passes, throws. Just before midfield, our Cube. Incognito staying in the zone here.
And Cube right now, they're moving it well with the handlers. It looks like it's a little more difficult to actually get it to someone in the middle right now. And I think Incognito's just making it really tough for them. But this whole possession has been through their handlers.
Little juke cut, great move, faking in and going out. More Mo, putting the defender on some skates and making things happen.
I like the idea that Incognito right now, they're throwing different looks at Cube. Cube has to rethink their strategy every single time. In that one, we saw a lot more movement with the handlers. They had to do something different, and it looked almost like a dominator where they're just kind of like ping, bang, pong, and then boom, get one in the end zone right there. Sometimes you just need that. The rest of us are just patient waiting, right?
Gonna figure out what this, if there's a timeout or if it's half. We're just gonna make sure. It's gonna be halftime here. Cube up 6-4. They are gonna be coming out on offense, so they got some momentum and Incognito some work to do. We'll be back here for the conclusion of this game. Winner moving on to the semifinals.
What an exciting game here. This is Tushar Singh from I Am Ultimate. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for everyone who's joined this stream. Cube leading right now, 6-4 and a half. For tomorrow, we have 5 games coming up. There will be a mixed quarterfinal to start at 8:30. That's the game we've added. It'll show up on social media along with whom will actually be in it. Please don't pre-guess who's on field 2. You don't automatically get to come through. We do get a little bit of choice. Then we'll have the women's semifinal. That also teams to be determined at 10:30. Then at 12:30, the mixed semifinal, teams to be determined. And then 2:30, it'll be the women's bronze medal game. That'll be coming up. And then closing out the day at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, open bronze medal game Sunday. Starting at 9:30, stick with us all day for the finals, women's, open, and then mixed.
Quarterfinal action here, women's division. You got Incognito in blue out of Toronto, Ontario, taking on Cube in white out of Quebec City. Scoreline is 6-4 Cube. They wanted a little break train early in the game, going up 4-0. Incognito working things back. Theo Wan here with G Lee, Tushar Singh, our producer. G, what has Incognito done to get back in the game? Because at 4-0, we were thinking it was looking very dark and dangerous for Incognito and their chances of moving on, but they're right back in this game.
They are right back in it. They have made some amazing plays, big layouts in the end zone, and they took some good risks. Their defense right now is really making it hard for Cube to execute their game plan as well.
B-zone on this side, I'm going to reset it back. The zone has been really ferocious in trying to get blocks. Those in the mark really being active, bouncing on their feet. And you've mentioned this before in the first half. Cube's success has been going through the cup, and we see a Little collision there between two players.
And Incognito wants those handlers to move. They really want to try to get them to touch that disc as much as they can and make them turn it. Also, there's no movement from those mids right now.
Great layout block. That's Jasmine Ulalin. Had a block earlier as well. Ulalin, a big part of this team. Star player. Gets the disc now, trying to get the break out of half or Incognito. Put themselves right back in it. Down one if they can score this. Inside shot. Just outside the end zone. Going around to Gao.
Showing some really good patience until, see, I can't say it right away. I kind of think I jinx it, but the patience before that was really, really good. And again, one little mistake and we've got really quick transition.
Snagged by Bouchard. Didn't even have to leave the feet there. Has a couple players there. Gao with the attempted layout, but coming down with the score potentially. There is a call. Bouchard had an open option, but elected to look her off and instead for a deeper one into the end zone. Bizot was there. Gao trying to make the layout. Jeff Blair, the observer, gonna have to make a call here.
Looks like he called that one immediately, though, so we will see what this conversation is like. And it looks like the players are also calling it over there. You've got the Incognito players talking to Blair right now.
It's ruled a score. Camille Bizot. 3 goals and 3 assists coming in this one. Adds one more to the mantle. And Cube takes a 3-point lead.
Cube worked that transition really, really well over there, and they're taking the shots that they need. And once it opens up, you can tell that Cube has no problem trying to create space and just moving that disc fast.
Time becoming, it's always a factor in Ultimate, of course. We know that. But starting to become a factor in this game with 25 minutes left, some points, one of them being 8 minutes long. If we go off that theory, there could only be 4 points left, potentially. There's been some quicker points as well, some smooth holds.
Yeah, we're seeing faster points right now, but I think that beginning where both teams were making more than 5 turns a point, you were seeing like time was just going, and I don't know, like I don't think we're gonna hit 15 in this one, but at the same time, this is getting to be a close game.
The Incognito offense marching the line, and for players that are not used to playing with observers, you got to get your foot on the line on offense, and it's a different thing because, like I said, if it's one of your first tournaments or you're not used to it, it's a little bit of a change from the normal pace of play or even how you set up on offense there.
I think it's also normal when there's no observers there, but you never know. We don't see that at CUCs though.
Observers doing a great job. We always like to thank Team Orange for their help in making sure calls are resolved quickly and giving of their time here to make the Canadian Ultimate Championships run smoothly. Wang on this far sideline has Abe in the dump, looks her off, gonna go around to Chan Lim instead, and trying to continue to this side to Zhu. Wang past midfield, putting a huck up for Santacono. Good layer attempt, but just comes up a bit empty. And
I think that
might take her out. Yeah, that might take her out of this point, and injury called there.
The heart that Incognito has and the grit that they have, you guys, everybody should be seeing this right now because I don't think I've seen a team lay out this much in a game before.
Bouchard coming in the game for Cube, Ulalin as well for Incognito.
With that injury call, you're allowed to also sub on the opposite team if needed. And looks like Cube is using it as well. Could be a strategy.
Almost a Callahan for Incognito. They were so close to that one. Now Bouchard. Running out of options, got to put a flick out into space. Brought down by Cube. Allowed to lead power position. Looking for unders instead or a reset going around. Snagged by Drouin. Cube really working things here with Incognito on person defense. Putting it out for Bouchard. Bouchard with the left hand. Coming down with the break for Cube. They're up 8-4, doubling up the Toronto side.
Looks like that sub really helped Cube out on that one. That movement by the handlers on that possession was smooth, and they were able to use the field width-wise and stretch it. So they got the defense moving. They created a ton of space and a beautiful huck to an even better grab.
22 minutes left in this contest, so time's starting to trickle down here. We see offensive players for Incognito jogging the line, and that's something we were talking about in the last stream. If you joined us, Regiment out playing an absolute classic. But Regiment, the team trailing, slow to jog out at times, and we want to see more points because we want more ultimate action here on the stream. That's what we want.
Yeah, and there's no stoppage time. You got to go. If you don't go and you waste, I don't know, not without observers, if you waste your 2 minutes or 3 minutes, that's 3 minutes off your clock.
You're going to play some of your top players, of course, multiple points. We've seen that throughout this tournament, and we're seeing it right now with Cube. Bouchard had gone left to right on your screen, now going right to left. Playing a little double duty here for the Quebec City side. Big pull coming up from Bouchard. Number 2 in your program for Cube.
That's a lovely pull to the sideline. You've got Cube sprinting down right now.
Split stack look from Incognito. See where they decide to meld into here. Gal out here on this offensive point as well. Been a big mark for them in their zone look. Chan Lim has Abe going deep, but gonna go reset instead or around to Zhu.
Cube's straight up mark is making it really difficult right now for Incognito to move that disc to their cutters. We're watching them get pushed back a lot.
Abe following things through. Sticking with it is Grace Wang. Under some pressure. Following up to Monica Wang on this close side. Hear the calls from the sideline, really echoing calls to players on the field. Abe gonna get it right before midfield. Gao getting low to save that one for the Toronto side. A must score, I think, for this group with the time remaining. Gao high release backhand knocked away by Mormeau.
Mormeau pressured Gao the whole time with that disc. She was already hesitating to throw it the first time. So when she let it go, I think it was not what she wanted it to be.
You got Bergeron and Bouchard out here, 2 strong handlers for this Cube side. See if they can march in this defensive point. Throw going up, coming down with it. Cube, Coach Scouvet, but there is a foul call, offensive foul call on this one. Gao, the defender, trying to prevent that play.
It looked like Gao thinks she got elbowed in the head on the side. Gao had position. I think she sealed her out, but it looked like she was over the top and tried to reach for the discs.
This is where we want the mic'd up observers. They can tell us, you know, when refs are mic'd up, I always like that, or other officials. We see Cube players were previously dancing on the sideline as the call is being made. Some hand signals from observer Jeff Blair. Some more discussion to be had here.
So Jeff Blair has signaled no foul. And the disc is going back to Cube right now. Looks like they're just waiting to get that tapped in.
8-4 scoreline, trying to get the proverbial nail in the coffin, make it 9-4. with about less than 18 minutes left now. Sliding grab. Heard the yes from the sidelines, cheering on Bouchard. Big fakes. They're gonna go to the open side, and Monica Wang playing some great defense, saying not today, that they don't want to go quietly into the Brampton night.
Nope, they are going to make this as hard as they can for Cube, and they're going to fight for every single disc in the air. The defense right now is shoulder to shoulder. Both Cube and Incognito are playing great defense, and it's getting harder to move that disc.
Lots of shouting from the sideline. They know how important this game is. This is for your championship hopes. Wang going to Zhu. Got open on a big gainer in the middle of the field. Chan Lim gonna slice a huck that's knocked down. Emphatic block from Cube. Gilbert has Elizabeth Turcotte up the line. Turcotte with a fake. Perhaps looking for Bergeron in the reset space. Gonna throw a huck deep in the end zone. Will it stay in bounds? Gilbert landing out of bounds. Good effort. Chan Lim playing some great deep defense, but I don't think that was ever in bounds or going to be in bounds. It would have been a hard play to make.
It was a pretty hard play unless she was going to go for the greatest over there.
We want to see one of those on the stream.
Oh, I'd love it. I don't want to yell in the mic, though, if it happens, though. It's going to... I get too hyped up, and this game it's already pretty close right now, so... We are going to keep trying to keep our cool in this one as Incognito gets possession again.
High release backhand. Zhu keeps her composure, reeling it in. Guarded by Bouchard. Monica Wang has been a big focal point for this team. Been really impressed with her, playing nice around throw to Gao. Gao throws a little high, but Zhu once again all over the field, just collecting the disc, keeping things alive for her squad.
The offense right now seems a little chaotic in the middle there. I think Drew did a good job of just standing back, watching the chaos, and then she caught whatever she could in the back, and that was perfect.
Abe maybe slowing things down for the Incognito side, and things will grind to a halt with the pick call.
Like I said, it's chaos in the middle right now, so I think the Cutters don't know really where to go with this straight-up mark. And it's messing with them a bit.
That's where you have coaches help players adjust, and after the point, bring the line in. You know they're probably not going to go out again, so bring the line in, tell them what adjustments they need to make here. Grace Wang, good grab under pressure from Turcotte. High throw, Gao reaches up with the right hand. Needing this offensive point badly is Incognito. Abe sprints up line for the score.
That was a great cut by Abe. She noticed her defender trying to poach that lane on the under and just went straight up the line. Beautiful pass by Gao.
3-point deficit. We've seen Incognito get some breaks. They need to do it now, folks. With less than 15 minutes on the clock, a little hard cap action happening here. And you know, I'm all about the soft cap +1 rule, which is going to happen in the finals. We're not going to get that here, though.
Not here. I think they need the time. As you can tell, this game is going pretty long, and it is a small score, but it's 8-5 right now.
Be curious to see if Incognito decides to bring on some of the players they primarily have on offense, like at Abe or Karen Chan Lim, Monica Wang. Right now, don't see them off on the field. As I hear some rain droplets coming up on our protective cover here in the booth. A lot of sunlight, though, so we avoided the potential thunderstorms. We are very thankful for that because it looked dire at one point. I saw the rain clouds behind us.
We thought the planes were thunder for a while as well, so we were checking. And it's a bit of a panic if it is.
A lot of electrical equipment and water probably doesn't mix well, so you have to kind of evacuate as quick as possible, safely, of course. Zone look here from Incognito. We've seen them generate some turnovers with that, especially when they get to that trap sideline.
Exactly, and again, you need to make the handlers think about their throw. They're executing everything they want a lot of the time, so using the zone and stopping it really helps. Those mid-poppers right now are struggling to help out, and you're seeing them getting pushed back over and over again.
To leave surprised at that throw a little bit on that reset. The two handler defenders really close together. Not sure if any of the handlers have called a double team. Excuse me. Not sure if that has been ushered out to the handler defenders there.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And sometimes they do look a little tight, but at the same time, you've got another handler coming into the cup area. You're going to have that cup collapse into you. So you take a risk either way, right?
And if you're Cube on offense, if you can fake that and have one of the players on the side of the zone, especially in the handler space, bid, then you have an open shot down the middle for a popper. That's sometimes what you're looking for.
And the popper right now, I think, is actually struggling to time it with those cutters. So the handlers are trying to get through the cup, but they seem to get stopped every time. And I think the wing on that cup is actually helping that because they're pushing back as the handler catches it.
Tosti finds her target, working it back now. They're trying to go through that middle of the field. Rositas on the mark. They're bumping into Rositas when they catch the disc. Trying to get her back, perhaps.
Looks like their strategy right now is to try and crash through that cup to make a throw. And I think Incognito is doing a really good job of just stopping the next one. Again, they're using their body, and there's no call being made at the moment. There's your turn.
That results in a turnover. So Incognito, this is your chance right now. Smith going with the backhand, finds her target, and that's a break for the Toronto side. Michaela Power getting the score.
Great defense over there by Incognito, like we were talking about. They've really made it hard for those handlers. And you can see the strategy the handlers are trying to do. They're trying to go through the cup. But at the same time, when are you going to start to try and move that disc to the other side of the field so that that cup stretches out a bit and that wall disappears and you have more room? It's really tough to kind of figure out your strategy at this point. You're also right, though. It could be a double team. I'm not sure. But
it hasn't been called.
It hasn't been called, but sometimes you don't want to call it because you're just like, well, they're just there. And sometimes you're like, no, call the double team. And I'm usually the one on the sideline going, call the double team. Call the double team. So
the need right now is to move it laterally, of course. And
they got to make that cup big.
Exactly. Spread them out. I expect Incognito to come out on zone again. So the coaches, Turcotte, Soné Gagnon, going to have to tell this offensive group right now what to do, how to beat the zone.
Yeah, and Cube's still winning. So this is the thing. We're sounding like, at the same time, we're sounding like Incognito is winning, but I think the energy right now is with them.
It is absolutely is the momentum.
And
for
so
sure.
that momentum's with them, but Cube's still winning this game right now, and they just need to keep their composure and move that disc a little bit more.
One of the veterans of this team, Turcotte, handling the disc, that trap, smart pull there. Trying to keep Cube on this side. Cube had defeated Incognito earlier this year in Jazz Fest, but that was a very different squad for both teams, and of course early season results, so can't glean too much from that.
And what we're seeing now, I think, is a four-handler set, which was different from what we saw before. And you're seeing more movement. You're seeing more space between that cup, and they are rocking through it way more than the last point. This could be their upwind line as well.
Bizot has a slashing Turcotte who got free. Turcotte throwing it back to Bizot, and that's what you need if you're Cube. Stop the run from Incognito.
It looks like a good way to maybe, I bet you anything, the coaches might put on another four-handler set in this one just to keep that disc moving like before. Even though they're on D right now, it might be beneficial for them to stack this line a little just to get that space, but there is a little bit more time left.
For the resilience for the team of Cube from Quebec City, able to get broken, but then come out on offense and get a smooth hold. That's what you like to see, and they're trying to progress further. They will play the winner, or excuse me, not the winner. The winner of this game will play Venus out of Montreal. Could be a rematch of pool play where Venus got the better of Cube by 1.
Yeah, either way, this game, whoever wins this one, it's going to be an exciting game. And right now, it is still close. We have time left, and Cube is still trying to figure out what adjustments they need to make on offense right now. So Incognito, if they can run this one smoothly and get a nice quick point, this could be a game.
They've shown the ability to break. We've seen that in this half. I know Cube got a break after getting a hold right out of half. But so Incognito had fought back. Able to do so, but they need to cash in on this offensive point right now. Their offensive line back on the field. And great to see Santa Kono as well, having taken injury sub earlier. Chan Lim ushering Dow to get back. But there was a poaching handler defender. Nice, looking for that inside shot, but needs a little bit more float for Dow to run onto it.
I felt like she felt rushed to make that throw a little bit. And again, this defense right now is stifling Incognito.
While looking upfield, has a handler go down.
She juked herself out.
That was Drouin tumbling to the turf. Things ready to get started here. Some discussion. Abe and La Tulipe, excuse me, discussing where they should be. Looking for options. Tosti finds Wah. And Cube being very patient on this offensive point. And as we say that, La Tulipe looking deep. Finding her target in the end zone. That's Tosti. Ariane with the grab, and that's a break for Cube.
Cube is looking good on offense right now. When Match D is on and they're just going through it, going through the motions, and that throw was really nice.
Shari Latulipe, 4 assists in this contest, adding to her total. We're going to see if there's a timeout. I see players huddling at both, and there is a timeout called by Cube.
The strategies right now for both teams, it's going to be Incognito has to go all out. It's 10-6 right now, and once this point starts, it is going to be less than 5 minutes left of this game. It's going to be a really tough one if they cannot get the next point, and Cube is going to have to really, really stop them from making easy throws. That zone might come back on, and I think what we're going to see is a lot of pressure on defense, and Incognito is going to have to really be smart and keep possession of the disc.
With this timeout, we want to take the time to once again thank our producer Tushar Singh, I Am Ultimate. We got 5 games for you tomorrow. 8:30 a.m. Eastern times, all Eastern. Mixed quarterfinal, then at 10:30 women's semifinal, followed up by a mixed semifinal at 12:30. 2:30 got women's bronze, and then we wrap the day up with some open action bronze medal. 4:30. Get stoked for that. And then Sunday you got women's open, then mixed final. And then we're gonna pack this up, kind of. The seniors will, and bring in the juniors, and do it all again Monday to Wednesday. Let's go.
Juniors is also going to be really exciting, everybody. I hope you guys can tune in. These kids are amped to be in Brampton. Beautiful weather. Hoping to avoid the thunder right now, but it's going to be great. Everybody bring your rain jacket so it doesn't rain.
The Flower City, Brampton, Ontario, the host of the 2022 Canadian Ultimate Championships, and also the host of the University Championships happening in the fall. So if you're university age, make sure you sign up, try to get your team over. There's 2 divisions, open and women's, but also 2 divisions within that, D1, D2.
That's actually one of the bigger tournaments Ultimate Canada holds, with many teams across the country coming.
Smith out here on offense. Rudzita's trying to get open, but eventually does. Looking for an option, goes inside. A lot of players from this Incognito squad who haven't got a lot of run out here on the field right now, including Bonnie Lamb. And that throw not going to work out. And Cube trying to break and continue to put a stranglehold on this game, up 10-6 right now.
Cube's done a really good job right now of just pressuring Incognito and making them hesitate on making the throw. I think that's why we're seeing more errors from their throws.
Little scuba action. We do love the flash. We said Incognito had a lot of that, and Cube trying to match that with the scuba on a reset. Don't normally see that. Inside shot now onto this break sideline. Bergeron trying to work with the veteran Turcotte as well. Two long-standing members, and that blade's going to slice into the turf.
It looked like Cube ran out of time on that one and just felt like it was a high stall count. She had to put it. And I don't mind that at a high stall count sometimes, but also options before that, there were about 2 or 3. It's just a difficult throw to make. I think she felt she had to holster it.
Makito gets the reset pass. Great spot to be in now to Smith. Smith finds Song. Looking for Smith, but it hits the turf, and Cube trying to get a break. Little give and go action. Going across the field. Makito gonna snack on it for the block. Playing hard still.
Love that she grabbed that and ripped it down by herself.
Popped up throw is gonna lead to a Callahan for Cube. And Cube, with the time left, is gonna be moving on. They're feeling good right now, heading in to that semifinal.
That was a great way to end this game. Oh, not yet. I think we still have a little bit of time left. Sorry about that, but wow, a Callahan. You could tell that she was under a lot of pressure over there, though. It was such a difficult decision. Like, that throw, that is so hard to make on a high stall count, and you just, what do, right? You're panicking, and then you got Cube players running at you, and they're coming in for the D. Whew. Great throw. Sorry, not a great throw. Great catch.
Hard cap going to go on after this point, with the point having already taken place. So we sometimes think of points where players walk to the line. That's actually not the case. When the point ends, that next point has already started. So you're going to get, we got bonus action there. You get bonus points. How's that for you in the audience? Bonus point. Singular.
1 point. That Callahan really got me. Whew.
That's one way to end the day. We've had a lot of action here. We've already promoted what you got to watch tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
And looks like that rivalry is going to come back with Cube and Venus.
And if I'm Venus right now, I'm probably watching this stream, and I'm very, I don't want to say you're nervous, but you know Cube's going to come out with a vengeance having lost in pool play. That's all I'm going to say.
And I've spoken to a few players, some women players from other teams, and they're saying Venus looks really good right now.
We've had a great tournament,
so
yes.
I think this is going to be fun to watch.
Shannon Lim finds Danny. Tumbles over the player. Going to keep things going. No foul called. Dufour on the mark of Danny. Hammering out of it. That's going to blade. And good effort to catch it, but that's a tough throw to catch.
Yeah,
in that space.
hammer to blade is really difficult.
Latu Leap faking a hammer of her own. Has a receiver going into the deep space. What a shot from number 9, Latu Leap, who's having a game for Cube. What vision.
Tulip was waiting for that from the beginning. She started heard the stall count and was just like, I know what I want, and she made it happen. Great way to end the game. 2 big points from Cube.
We're going to see if we get bonus action or if the game is in fact over.
Looks to be over.
Looks like the teams are going to go shake hands. 12-6 the scoreline. Cube moves on. They'll be playing Venus in the semifinals. Keep an eye out on the Ultimate Canada social media channels for what games will be streamed. That's a great way for you to also be informed of the results. Make sure you do that. There's more action happening right now across the complex. For G Lee, I'm Theo Wan, Tushar Singh, our producer. G, any final thoughts before we sign off here?
You better tune in tomorrow because it's going to get big.
Tune in tomorrow. That's all we got to say. See ya.